Hello everyone, I am back. I'm going to do a quick video because I'm getting ready to do some stuff that can't be undone, so I need to show you before I do it. Alright, so what I did was I sprayed on a guide coat. For those of you that aren't familiar, guide coat is a light spraying of a different color, contrasting color. In this case, I've got some flat black spray paint, sprayed a light coat on, and then I sanded it off. And you know the surface is flat when you sand it and there's no more black. So you can see that as I sanded, I got pretty much all of it off. There's a low spot right here, but I knew it was there. It kind of has a dip and comes up a little bit. I just have to decide, do I want that dip or do I want this to be absolutely flat? I haven't decided yet. But I need to decide before I do the other side. So I'll probably do the other side flat, see if I like that, and if I do, then I'll come back and fill this in. That depression is very, very minor, but it is there. And it would show up if this was gloss, like gloss black paint or something like that. So as you can see, I did most of it. I stopped because it's hot and I need a break. So the reason why I stopped the other day was because I felt I probably sanded as much as I could without sanding through. This is 2K primer. It's a two-part primer. The stuff underneath is not 2K primer. It's either just plain lacquer primer or body filler or gel coat, whatever, or fiberglass, one of the 3 or 4. So I was right at the limit. So by putting the guide coat on there, sanding the guide coat off, I did sand through in a couple places. So that means yet another coat of 2K primer needs to be put on there. I don't want places where different surfaces, the paint goes on to different surfaces. So here it would be going on to the 2K primer, and then it would be going on to body filler here. And there is a chance there's going to be some kind of issue at this interface. So I would rather go ahead and put another coat of 2K primer on it and just ensure I don't sand through. There were 2 spots other than the one on the hood. I knew about the one on the hood and I knew about this one in the back. It's again, a very minor spot. It's a low spot. That's sanded about as much as I think I can sand without going through. So again, it's a very minor depression, but it is there. Let's see what else. Oh, and then on this door, there's a spot on the door somewhere. I don't know where it is. Anyway, there was a spot on the door somewhere. Maybe I'll see. Oh, there it is right there. So there's a very low spot right there. Again, I think a coat of 2K primer will fill that. Let's see, what else do I have? I do have like little spots here and there. There I sanded through. Let's see, I think that's pretty much it. The rest of it came out. There's a couple of pinholes back here. Very, very minor, but they're still there. And all right, so that takes care of this. Let me run around to the other side and show you what I've got. So I used the contour gauge. I don't know if I showed everyone this, but this is a gauge that you can use. You put it on the surface, tighten down the knobs, and it shows the exact surface. It must be the other way. Yeah, there we go. So I lined it up with the edge of the headlight, went straight back, and got it to where it follows the curve of the hood. And you can actually see there's that little depression right there. There we go. So when I put it exactly on it, it fits. So then I put this on the other side and saw that there was a hump in the middle. And so I got the grinder, ground down the hump. Well, when I did, I ground through the fiberglass of the C2 hood where the vents were. Just as a reminder, that hood used to have sunken in vents like that. I didn't like them, so I filled them in. On that side, I cut out that section and then put wood underneath and screws and made a bridge and then put that on top of the bridge. This side, I only did that on the front. I left this back alone, thinking I could just fill it in, and the end result, it was too tall. It actually was a hump there. So by putting that gauge on there, I put it on there, and then I kept grinding down in this area. When it's high, it would rock. That gauge would rock. So as an extreme example, if this was a high spot and I put this on here, it would follow the back fine, it would follow the front fine, but then if I pushed down on either one, it would rock. And so what I did was I looked for where it was rocking, and I ended up having to grind this whole area flat to get rid of the rocking. What that did was it ground through the C2 fiberglass hood, and so I had to reattach it. I found out that if I try to just bridge things, it's going to come back and haunt me. So I decided to go ahead and reattach it. So what I did was I put Gorilla Glue underneath, sprayed it with water like you're supposed to, put the Gorilla Glue under there, and then put screws down to where right now the surface is actually a tiny bit low. For those of you that don't know, Gorilla Glue expands. They have a clear one that doesn't expand, but I just decided to do this because the gap varied. The C8 hood is underneath here, and so the gap between the C8 hood and this varied from end to end. So I decided I wanted the Gorilla Glue to fill that gap. I could have used the other Gorilla Glue. They've got a clear one. I could have used it. I don't think it expands. I'll find out next time I use it. Anyway, it's been sitting for several hours. It's expanded and hardened as much as it's going to. You can see that even though it's done, it's still somewhat flexible. So I'm going to take a razor knife and cut across here. I'm going to take out all these screws. I'm going to put fiberglass resin on top of this, and then I'm going to put a thin layer of fiberglass cloth. The fiberglass cloth with fiberglass, if it's the right mixture, it ends up being 0.08 of an inch thick. So this is more than 0.08 low. It's probably, I don't know, let's say 50 thousandths low or something like that. So the 0.08 will just make it to where it requires less. It'll also cure this issue right here. So I'm going to put the cloth all the way across here, and then sand it just enough to roughen up the surface, and then put a skim coat of body filler on top of that, and then use the contour gauge to make sure it follows the exact contour. I'm doing the same thing with this contour gauge, except side to side. Ouch, this thing's hot because it's sitting in the sun. So I look at where the rear edge, this over here, the rear edge of that vent is. So if I line it up, I put this here, push down on it, and it's going to give me this surface curve. So then I will come over here, put this in the same spot, and then I will fill it in until there's no gap there. You can see right where that screw is, there's a low spot, otherwise it would be hitting that screw right now. So that's how much too low it is. Again, I did that on purpose because I don't want to have to sand through and go through this whole thing again. So I'll fill it in. I'll fill it in body filler front to back. Check it with that other gauge here, that gauge, and then I'll do it at the same time. Do it side to side. Check it with this gauge, and that'll make sure that it matches. And of course, I can check it at as many spots as I want across here and across there. All right. That's all I have. I just wanted to show you that because I'm getting ready to cut that foam out, show you what I did there, and getting ready to sand off the rest of the guide coat. So when I'm through sanding off the guide coat, it will no longer be there, and I couldn't explain exactly what I was doing. All right, thanks a lot. Go ahead, like, subscribe, hit the alert button, and hit that thanks if you want to donate some money to the project. And if you can't see what I'm doing by now, you don't know Jack. Bye.